Thanks for joining us on ARC Salt Lake. I'm Krista McPeak, filling in for Brian Schnee. It's Thursday, November 13th. Today we're going to go in depth on a national and growing trend of bad actors creating chaos simply for amusement and notoriety. Before we do, we'll check on the latest with weather. Meteorologist Sean Kelly has our first alert forecast coming up.
Yeah, we're looking at some pretty big changes here across the area as we've been dealing with temperatures that have cooled off quite a bit here, but will be more significant as we get into next week. We've been dealing with temperatures here, record-breaking warmth into the 70s, but as we head through the remainder of the evening and into the overnight, those temperatures will be cooling off pretty nicely into the 50s. As we step outside right now and get ready to show you what's going on across the area, we're dealing with, again, temperatures here that are still pretty comfortable. We're in the lower 60s right now here in Salt Lake City at 62 degrees, a bit breezy. We've been seeing some pretty strong wind gusts earlier today. We had some 30-mile-per-hour winds for the most part here. The wind's getting a little bit lighter right now, but we'll see some gusty winds tomorrow as well. Here we go. Here's that chances for some showers and some heavy rain. And yes, with these storms comes some mountain snow as well, as we will see a series of storms moving into the area. But the big story here is just the significant drop in temperatures that we're going to be dealing with as we make our way into the weekend. We'll let you know how long this cool weather will last coming up. My first alert. Weather forecast.
University of Utah students are back in their dorms today after a swatting call closed several evacuations. A person who self-identified as Jonathan Smith called campus police with some harrowing claims.
He stated he had stabbed his girlfriend 20 times and had a assault rifle and was going to shoot up the school if the police didn't arrive within 20 minutes.
Now, students were evacuated from their dorms. While the report was investigated, police quickly determined that the threat was not credible. Sadly, this is not the first time this happened. Chief Safety Officer Keith Squires is telling 2 News they have had several incidents that they attribute to swatting, including another one as recently as August.
We have several incidents that happen throughout the year that we attribute to what is called swatting incidents. And they use the term swatting because it creates a response based on the information that's being shared that would require a special weapons team, which is rifles and full gear, etc. So that's what the goal of this is. The perpetrators are usually out of state. They're using various means to disguise their source information, makes it very difficult to track them down. But there is actually an effort between all public safety agencies throughout the country and helped by the FBI and others that work on this crime. But just in the past couple weeks, I've had notifications from other universities, including some of our partners in the Pac-12, that this is happening regularly across the country. Normally, we have an opportunity based on this network to identify certain indicators that help us recognize that this is a confirmed swatting incident. But often, like last night, it requires a police response to the location to confirm that what's being alleged is not happening.
And Chief Squires says both Salt Lake Police and campus police responded to this incident, and they know that communication was a big issue. The university is rolling out a new campus safety framework in January, including updates to its alert system. Squires says the goal of these criminals is to create as large of a possible police presence that they can, and law enforcement has to balance keeping the community informed, avoiding the spread of false information, and not giving these bad actors the attention they're looking for.
We're working hard to make improvements. We started the first part of this year on what we call our university campus safety framework. That has several modifications to our previous alert system and practices as far as how we put out information to the community. That's online to be implemented at the first of this year. But in the meantime, we recognize that there are certain things that we've learned even from last night that will impact changes immediately.
What risk does a large police presence at a dorm, what does that potentially, what risk does that potentially pose to students?
One of the challenges that we have is that there are very effective communication platforms that students use to share information during their experience here at the university. And at times they get information, it may be coming from different sources, but we find that that's shared pretty effectively amongst their peers. And that information isn't always accurate. At the same time, we're working to verify information about the call, about what's taking place, and in an effort to try not to put out inaccurate information that may create more of an alarm. There is just that time factor that takes place. And so it's one of those things that we recognize and are working to improve. They go to great efforts to design these so that it creates an alarming situation on campus. A recent one that we had this year at the library, we were fortunate, as I mentioned, to identify that there were certain factors with a reporting individual that were tied to known swatting incidents in other areas. But we also had officers immediately in that area who were able to recognize, along with dispatch using cameras, that what was being reported did not match what was actually happening on scene.
The FBI defines swatting as a malicious tactic of making hoax calls to emergency services, falsely reporting imminent danger, and promoting a large response from SWAT teams or other law enforcement. Targets are often schools, hospitals, mass transit, places of worship, or high-profile people, but anyone can be a victim. Our Lev Kelleher went to campus to see what the students think of this trend.
Do you ever worry about like the possible like safety issues that could come with swatting? Like there's not actually a threat, but we have all these police officers here, these young kids, like concerns about it being a bigger safety issue beyond that.
Yeah, no, it's totally dangerous. Like my friend that lived on the dorm or whatever hallway, he like pokes his head out of the dorm and like there's like a guy with a gun like whatever pointed at him, like, and like totally mistakes could definitely happen there. It's just dangerous in itself. Like you're causing chaos that where there is no chaos.
And another student at the University of Utah says they were left in the dark. The panic was immediate, but the communication was not.
Oh, there was like almost nothing. It all came through like this app called Yik Yak. It's like little stories and like drama. That's the only way I got my news up until they sent the alert afterwards. And like the police were telling me to just go away and they weren't giving me much information.
Did that make you nervous?
Yes, ma'am, it did. It was really frightening. I was like, I didn't know what was going on. I'm so used to the university telling me this stuff and they just didn't. And like there's a suicide a few days ago. And they didn't tell me anything about that, not through the text, not through the news, not through anything. I heard it through my counselor.
What do you think the campus could have done better?
I think they could have given live reports saying at least stay away from CalAlert, possible like crime or like person armed with knife. You don't have to give like too much information, but you know, at least something to keep students updated.
And overall, how do you feel about campus safety here?
I feel really comfortable here. You know, I usually see a police car or something go by. I always see the blue boxes. You know, I'm not too worried, but stuff like that kind of shows that like if there's something happening, I'm not going to get to know about it up until after it's done. I know they're focusing on their job and all, but you know, I'd like to know something.
Under a new state law which took effect last May, swatting, or making a false alarm, could be considered a felony. Penalties are even more severe if it involves a weapon of mass destruction like a bomb or a rifle. Those convicted have to pay restitution to all the businesses impacted and law enforcement agencies who respond. Fines up to $10,000 and up to 15 years behind bars are also possible. 3 teachers, one idea, and now an entire community coming together. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, how a simple concern at a Logan Elementary School turned into a massive event helping families in need. Welcome back. What started with 3 teachers at Hillcrest Elementary in Logan concerned about their families and schools that they help here, that just ballooned into this massive event 2 weeks later. It's called Breakfast, Books, and Being Together. Teachers banded together to offer students and their families resources. This morning, they not only served breakfast, kids also got a bookmark attached to a box of mac and cheese with a list of community resources, and multiple community groups also were there to give out information.
Those kids and those families sure stay with us after school, and we just felt like for kids to be able to learn, they need to feel safe, they need to have enough food, and we started to worry about our community.
When a student doesn't have a full belly, it's hard for them to learn. And today's event was about sharing community resources, sharing emotional support, and seeing all of these families coming together to receive help and to help has been overwhelming.
Can really tell how much it means there just by listening to her talk. Teachers made sure to contact each parent or guardian with a child at the school to let them know about the event. Along with food and resources, kids also got to pick a book to keep and bring it home. And all across the country, communities are gearing up to celebrate America's 250th birthday next year. As part of the celebration, there is an initiative called America Gives. It's a drive to encourage volunteerism and helping each other as a way to honor the country. Lincoln Graves explains how the chair of America 250 was in Utah today, spreading that word.
In a warehouse on the western reaches of Salt Lake City, trucks are being packed with food, ready to benefit needy families across the country. It's an effort directly tied to celebrating America's 250th birthday next year.
We all remember the words of the Declaration, the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so thinking about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is exactly what this initiative embodies with America Gives, and obviously what the church embodies every day.
Rosie Rios is chair of the United States Semi-Quincentennial Commission. A former U.S. treasurer, she now oversees America 250. Rios was in Utah to team up with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The church is donating 250 truckloads of food headed for different communities across the U.S.
We have the signing of the Declaration, yes, as a platform and an opportunity. And what do we use with that platform and an opportunity? Is to kind of express what we are desiring for Americans to do, which is to unite in specific ways. And one of those ways is through service.
Chair Rios met with young people who were helping with the packaging at this church warehouse. She has seen much of the country in her role with America 250 and says this event is emblematic of what she has noticed about Utah.
This is our second visit this year to bring this partnership to life, and it's just such a wonderful feeling of a community that knows how to take care of other people.
In Salt Lake City, Lincoln Graves, KUTV 2 News.
That's so awesome. I know, just did another report. Utah is the most charitable state once again, so it should be easy for us to achieve there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, are you a skier
yes.
by any chance? Okay,
Yeah.
so I know you were talking in the break, talking about how you're craving some snow, craving
yes.
to get up to the mountains. It's been a slow start, and this isn't helping. 70s today, lower 70s for highs. This is 20 degrees above normal, but hang in there. We've got some changes in the works here. We're talking about a big cool down heading our way here with some cooler temperatures as we're going to be back into the 50s and then eventually the 40s. But we will stay pretty mild through the first half of the weekend. Not quite as warm as today, but in the 60s. And then it's looking like a wet second half of the weekend and a big cool down into next week. But for right now, boy, is it warm. 5 to 12 degrees warmer from 24 hours ago. Across the state, we're at 51 in Heber, 50 in Park City. We're currently at 45 in Price, 54 in Hanksville, 41 in Panguitch, 58 in Cedar City, 68 in St. George. The winds have calmed quite a bit, but tomorrow we'll be dealing with another breezy day. 20 to 30 mile per hour winds will be possible at times. Here's a look at our storm. The first one, it's not going to be bringing any rain tomorrow. Just a few sprinkles out there, as you can see. An isolated spot shower will be possible. Saturday, we're dry, and then here comes the beginning of a series of storms and the big pattern change. Starts off Saturday night into Sunday. Widespread showers up and down the I-15 corridor. Mountain snow starting off high elevation above 8,000 feet and then dropping as we get from Monday to Tuesday. Here's our next storm moving in on Tuesday, bringing us a stronger cold front and a stronger drop in the temperatures here as we deal with some colder weather moving in with the winds at the northwest. We'll see those temperatures drop quite a bit down into the 40s, and then yes, we can maybe see some snow, our first snow of the season here, not accumulating snow, but a few snowflakes as we get from Tuesday into Wednesday here across the valley floors. So we'll watch out for that. And again, could see some significant snow over the next 7 to 14 days for the mountains. It's looking really good here in the long range as well. Rainfall total is about 1/4 to 1/2 inch will be likely through the next several days. Those lows overnight were down into the 50s and 40s, so still pretty mild. And then the highs tomorrow into the middle 60s across the area. Cloudy skies for much of the region here with a few sprinkles, a few isolated showers that'll be possible. St. George, you're looking at temperatures here that will cool off in the next several days down to the 60s and 50s. Some scattered showers out there early into next week as well. You're dealing with some cooler temperatures there. The normal for this time of year is 65 degrees, so that's a big difference there with highs into the 50s. And then across the Wasatch Front, our average for this time of year 52 degrees, and we're still above it even with the cooler temperatures both tomorrow and Saturday into the 60s. Sunday we're down into the 50s. There's the first storm. Widespread rain showers and then colder temperatures to follow Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think by Tuesday night to Wednesday we could finally see maybe a few snowflakes flying here across the valley floors, and then really kind of winter I think just begins next week. And then it's going to be looking good for the mountains here in the weeks ahead. It's been a slow start. We're a few weeks behind schedule, but it looks like it'll really start to get going for next week.
Love to see it. I'm excited. Are you excited?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big skier. I like the warm weather, and I like kind of holding off as late as we can. But once we get going, I really want to get going, and I think we will. It'll be consistent pretty much each and every day. So again, 50s and 40s down here means it's going to be snowing up into the mountains, and we'll start, and hopefully the ski resorts will be able to open up soon.
Yeah, everyone's itching to go, I'm sure. I was talking to a friend not too long ago, and I was getting a little nervous. I was like, oh, it's not snowing. And she said, oh, just travel. But I'm like, we live in Utah. This is where people come. We don't go other places.
This is, this is normal. It's a little bit of a late start, but it's nothing out of the ordinary. And it doesn't reflect that it's going to be a good or bad season. So, again, I don't need to be skiing early November anyway, but again, I think Thanksgiving weekend will be looking a lot better.
Great, awesome. Well, turning now to our news, a police chase unlike any other. The suspect had 4 legs and a whole lot of attitude coming up on Arc Salt Lake, the wild pig that sent officers sprinting through Albuquerque. Well, Albuquerque police responded to an unusual call Tuesday morning. A suspect on the run with 4 legs here, a snout, and an unexpected need for speed.
Yeah, officers spotted a wild pig weaving through traffic and dodging cars.
After a short but spirited chase, officers managed to safely corral him, and no one was hurt. The pig was taken to a shelter. If anyone needs a pig. Thanks for joining us.